My stepmom said she was only staying with my dad for his money, so I gave her the surprise party she deserved. When Dad married Maria 3 years ago, I tried to be happy for him. Mom had been gone since I was 8, and seeing him smile again felt good, even if something about Maria never sat right with me. Around Dad, she was all sunshine and perfectly timed laughs at his terrible jokes. But whenever we were alone, her face would go blank like someone had switched her off. Dad never saw that version though, because she could flip back to loving wife mode in a heartbeat. He was completely gone for her, buying her tennis bracelets and designer bags. That's why he went insane for her 40th birthday party with caterers from the country club and 50 of their closest friends. 2 days before the party, Dad sent me to grab Maria's tennis bracelet from his office safe. The house was quiet since Maria was supposed to be at Pilates, but as I passed the master bedroom, I heard her voice through the door. She was on speaker, laughing in this harsh way I'd never heard. Then she said the words that made my blood freeze. "I cannot stand that pathetic old fool, but honestly the money makes it worth it." My whole body went cold as she kept going. "Just one more year and my lawyer says I can file and get half of everything." The other woman, probably her sister, cackled about Maria earning every penny. I pulled out my phone and recorded because who would believe me otherwise? Maria went on saying, "Sometimes I look at his stupid face across the dinner table and I just want to scream at him to shut up about his boring golf stories." The sister laughed and said something about Maria deserving an Oscar. I had 3 minutes recorded and my hands were shaking. Dad was downstairs humming while arranging party favors and I wanted to puke. The next morning I told Dad I wanted to make a slideshow for the party. His whole face lit up. I spent the next day creating the presentation with their wedding photos, carefully placing the audio between their honeymoon pics and anniversary dinner. The night of the party, Maria was in full performance mode, greeting guests with air kisses and hanging on Dad's arm like newlyweds. Halfway through dinner, Dad clinked his glass for attention. "My daughter has prepared something special for Maria." The lights went down and the projection screen lit up. Wedding photos got the expected awes. Then came their honeymoon in Hawaii and the music stopped. Maria's recorded voice cut through the silence. "I cannot stand that pathetic old fool, but honestly the money makes it worth it." Forks clattered onto plates. Her voice continued about the lawyer and filing for divorce. Then came the worst part about wanting to scream at his stupid face. The room was frozen, and I waited for the explosion. But Dad started laughing. Actually laughing like someone had told a joke. Maria wasn't running for the door either, just staring at Dad with her jaw hanging open. "You were talking about your boss Greg, weren't you?" Dad stood up, pulling out his phone, and Maria's face drained of color. "How could you possibly know about Greg?" Her voice cracked on his name. Dad scrolled through his phone while 50 people held their breath. "Because I've been having you followed for 6 weeks because I thought you were cheating." Someone dropped a wine glass and it shattered, but nobody moved. "Turns out you've been secretly working at that boutique downtown for minimum wage, letting that pervert Greg treat you like garbage." Maria's hands were trembling as Dad kept scrolling. "Want to know what else the investigator found? You've been draining your mother's inheritance to pay for my cancer treatments. $300,000 so far." The word cancer hit the room like a bomb. Dad turned his phone toward the crowd, showing a photo of Maria leaving the oncology center with payment receipts. "The lawyer she mentioned? That's for medical bankruptcy because she's destroying her financial future to save my life." Maria finally broke, completely sobbing so hard she couldn't stand. "I didn't want you to know because you'd refuse treatment, and I can't lose you too. I already lost my first husband to cancer. I can't do it again." The room erupted with people trying to leave while others crowded around Maria. Dad pushed through, wrapping her in his arms while she kept repeating, "I can't lose you," over and over. He looked at me over her shoulder and said, "You didn't know, did you?" I shook my head, unable to speak. After everyone left, Maria sat at the kitchen table still in her party dress, looking exhausted. She looked straight at me and said, "Your mom would have done the same thing for him, you know." That broke something in me and I started crying for the first time in years. Maria didn't hug me or try to comfort me. She just sat there and said, "I'm not trying to replace her, but I love him, and that means I love you too, even when you hate me for it." Dad's treatment started officially the next week. Maria quit the boutique and Dad sold his boat to help with costs. A year later, he's cancer-free.